TT, I hope you realize that my problem with you as a character isn't that you're a housewife or that you choose to stay home. My problem is you choose to do nothing else to support your family. Nothing! Really, all it has to be is just take the time off once in a while to stop cooking and baking and engage with your children. That's it. That's all you have to do. Do you have any hobbies? Is there more to your life other than just standing around all the time, washing and cleaning? No, apparently there isn't. You could also help out Oob. Do things for him too. But no, we all know you wouldn't. It's all up to Goku to make his decision. Because according to you, Goku's not physically or emotionally there, even though we have seen evidence to the contrary. And that, if Goku meets somebody stronger, he'll train them. Well, TT, have you ever considered taking your little rants to his friends? Because, gosh darn it, Goku has tried. He has tried to find a successor, somebody else to take his place all this time, and no one is willing to stand up. No one is willing to do a damn thing. Nobody. Goku and Vegeta are the only ones who train anymore. Everybody else is willing to sit on their butts and be lazy and just let the world go by. Why do I have the strange feeling that if Trunks said nothing, these guys would have died just because they were that lazy? Not because of bad training, but because they decided Goku was just enough. My God, you don't see Goji falling behind his pilot training just because Great Monster exists. God, everybody on DBZ is lazy. Chapter 15, Between Saiyans. Oh, thank God, maybe we might get some Vegeta to make sense. Goku had been given an ultimatum by his bitch, training or family, which he could still do at the same time, but nobody chooses to accept my ideas. While he had previously spent time with both, as the balance may have been, it was now up to him to choose one, and only one. After the bitch stormed out of the dining room and started herself away, Goku quickly and quietly finished up his meal, which is all without a word being shared. Goku was once again alone. Hours passed, and night had come, and while he would normally be asleep, Goku found himself laying on the couch, thinking over and over about what Chi-Chi had said. His entire life had been told those around him that he dedicated to training in order to protect his friends and family. He always insisted that the two could side with each other and failed to see any conflict. But given the past 24 hours, he began to question his thought process. Thus, his real motivations for training. When has he... What? Am I the only one who's read Dragon Ball? Really? Am I the only one who's actually read Dragon Ball Z? Goku has been training for one reason only, and that is to get stronger and to test himself, to keep himself, to push his limits! There's no projection whatsoever here! Had he been lying to his friends, his family, and to himself? Yep! Either way, it has seemingly all come down to this. There's a fork in the road and he had to make a choice. He got up from the couch and gazed out the window towards the crescent moon. He did not want to abandon Oob. He made a promise to him and he wanted to keep it. At the same time, he was about to lose his family. Additionally, something Chi-Chi said struck with him. When is enough? The more he thought, the more confused he became. The struggle between these two choices began tearing him apart. While he knew what the right decision was, it was not the first one he thought of what he pictured would be doing the rest of his life. This troubled him. He did not know how to deal with it. If only he had someone to talk who understood his thought process. A light bulb went off in his head. Just the family and just continue training on your own because people who make ultimatum like this are usually actually more selfish than you are? There was one person who might not be able to relate. He glanced at the clock and took notice of the time. He wondered if he should wait till morning. No, he told himself. I have to talk with him now. It's my only hope to make sense of everything. Ever so quietly, he opened the door and closed it behind him before taking off into the night. Why? He has a transmission! Make up your mind. Do you remember these techniques or don't you? Because I am this close to rereading a Superman, and trust me, when you are making yourself look less appealing to the boys, Vic, we got problems. Trunks, you still up? Bulma exclaimed. She had passed this room when she noticed the light on and her son sitting at desk hard at his work. I'm just finishing some math homework before I go to bed, he told her. After a few more marks on his paper, he closed the book, set his pencil aside, smiled. All done. Bulma smiled back. Good night, Trunks. She said as she continued on her way to her own bedroom. She yawned as she closed the door behind her. Today had been an exhausting day, and she was looking forward to a good night's sleep. After taking off her clothes, woo! She slipped her nightgown, and yawned once more. It was certainly time for bed. But where was her husband? He was usually in bed before her. Vegeta? Bulma called out. No response. She was about to call his name out again when she heard a huff, 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 huff coming from outside. She went to the balcony and looked out the backyard. She saw Vegeta practicing punches with dumbbells. Opened the sliding glass door and called out to him. Hey! She called, getting his attention. Bulma, if you want to get Vegeta's attention, grab the straps of your nightgown, pull them out, and show those nice, tasty, go ahead and do it. The scene continued through his exercise. I'll be up later. Go to bed without me. Bulma rolled her eyes. She was too tired to argue with him about how late it was for him to be exercising. Instead, she decided to slide the door until it was slightly ajar and climbed to the bed. Vegeta grunted as he saw the light in the room go off. He stopped the train, walked over a bench, where he kept a small towel and a bottle of water. As he wiped the sweat from his brow and quenched his thirst, he heard someone behind him. Someone he was expecting. He smirked as he wiped traces of excess water from his lips. Hello, Kakarot. I was hoping you wouldn't be asleep. Vegeta turned around to face him. Normally I would, but I felt your ki approaching about 30 minutes ago. I assumed you were coming here, although I'm a bit curious as to why you didn't just teleport here. I didn't know if you'd be awake or not. Really? You actually care? Oh god, what the hell is up with this Vic? Imagine if I teleported you and start... Don't you start! I get it. I get that. For some reason, you care. Ugh, this stupid Vic. Fine. Start talking. A cool night breeze swept across them as Goku began to explain what happened earlier that day, along with the emotional struggle that was taking place inside him. However, unbeknownst to both of them, Vegeta was not the only one listening. Upon Goku's arrival, the wind generated from his flight had blown through the small opening in the balcony door that Bulma left ajar, causing various papers on a nearby table to be scattered delicately across the floor. Ugh! Bulma grunted under her breath as she got up to clean the mess. Serves me right for just wanting to get some fresh air. She knelt down, scuffling to collect everything and put them back in order. It wasn't until she was collecting the last of papers she noticed voices from outside. At first, they were faint whispers. But as she moved over to the balcony door, she was able to make out what was being said, as well as seeing them. Peeking her head around the corner, her suspicions were verified. Goku! She muttered. Him showing up in the middle of the night was a bit surprising. What's he doing here? She questioned herself, as she got a better view of what he was saying in his deep conversation with her husband. This had Bulma more curious. Something had to be up. Doing her best to remain quiet, she began to eavesdrop on what was being said. You know, why didn't Toriyama just create a new fighter character for Goku to fall in love with? I mean, if Chi-Chi is such a throwaway, useless piece of direct character, why do we even need her? Hell, wouldn't a better joke have been for Goku to just show up with Gohan? Actually, you know what? That would have been a better joke, Toriyama. Now that I think about it. Goku shows up with Gohan. And shows up that he's his kid. And Goku just mentions that his wife didn't want him to keep fighting, and Goku respect that. And of course, Goku mentions his wife again, and everybody's curious as to who it is. Only to find out later on. Build it up. Only to find out later on, it's a random chapter. Goku finally lands, his friends follow him, and they meet up with Goku's wife. And she is a soft-spoken, quiet, shy girl who only fights when necessary. And she is Goku's opposite in every way. Yes, I know this goes against what Vegeta said, but that would be more hilarious. That Goku became attracted to a soft-spoken girl. Hell, make it snow. So now Chi-Chi has given me an ultimatum, training our family. Goku concluded after briefly describing the situation. And I know what the right response is.
To ask her to do battle with you to the death in a one-on-one arena until one of you is standing?
No.
To ask you to do battle with her until she wins and takes you down?
No! Vegeta, this is not that type of fic!
It's still playing in my head. But, no. Continue your speech.
Well, it's not the response I first think of. Then I keep telling myself I'm doing this for them. I want to protect them.
Since when?
Just work with this! But now after what both Chi-Chi and Gohan have said, I'm beginning to question that as well. He sat down on a nearby bench and groaned. He felt so conflicted he was worried about the events that might cause confusion for his Saiyan counterpart, further adding to his frustration. It was after a moment of no response, when Goku looked back at him. To his surprise, Vegeta didn't look confused, but rather contemplative. The prince was trying to figure out how to best respond.
Kakarot,
he finally spoke.
Do you know why we both love to fight? It's because we're both shonen characters. It's kind of in our blood.
He looked at Goku square in the eyes.
I'm sure I told you this, but the need to fight, or even train, is in our blood.
He then turned around and looked up to the sky.
For thousands of years, the Saiyan race thrived in harsh environments because of our superior strength and our ruthlessness. Oh, those were the days. Those innate characteristics were reinforced again and again throughout our history as we face continuous challenge from those that sought to destroy us. That's why, despite the fact that both of us have turned to peaceful lifestyles, we have an urge to fight. The primal instincts exist in us, and in one way or another, it is what drives us. Truth be told, Kakarot, neither of us can deny what we really are. But that doesn't mean we have to live a life of our ancestors. I can't believe I'm reading the rest of this shit! What? I get paid by the line, so through my own time on this planet, I've found a balance between my innate Saiyan desires and the enjoyment of having a peaceful life.
He then turned back to Goku.
But I don't believe you have.
This caused a reaction out of the other Saiyan. He stood up defensive. You mean tell me you, of all people, aren't ruled by your instincts, for Vegeta?
Oh, of course I am, but... Besides, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is that I have found a balance between my desires and the desires of others. When I was with here, during your battle with Frieza, I stayed and waited your return.
Oh, so we're going Magna. Okay.
In doing so, I was forced to adapt to life on Earth. At first, my innate desires ruled me, but I quickly found my stubbornness to be matched by Bulma. As a Saiyan, this intrigued me. As time went on, we bonded through our thick-headedness. We had Trunks, and later Bra. Together, they've gradually helped me become the man I am today.
And this, dear class, is why Vegeta is the best father in Dragon Ball and not Piccolo. And his relationship with Bulma, for me, is way better than Yamcha. No matter how much people will scream, Yamcha got decked! Yamcha got cuckolded by Vegeta! Oh, Yamcha this, Yamcha that! Bulma and Yamcha had no scenes together at all in the manga! Oh, sure, they had that one bit, and then there was that one panel where Bulma was crying over Yamcha's dead corpse. But other than that, nothing! There was nothing to support that they still loved each other. There was nothing to support that they still went together. You remember that part in the Red Ribbon Army arc where Bulma was going with Goku somewhere? You remember? Yamcha wasn't there because he and Oolong and Puar were at school. Yeah, Bulma was ditching school. So much for that romance! And yeah, I know. Trunks then says, Yamcha cheated on Bulma later on, and you guys will try to say, well, there's no proof. Yamcha's no way it could be like that. And you're right. Most likely what happened was Bulma's anger probably misread the situation. It happens. People misread things when they're mad. But this just goes to show, if that is what happens, then maybe they just don't belong together. If Yamcha can't match Bulma, maybe, just maybe, work with me on this. Maybe they're ill-suited to each other. Because I have a feeling that if Bulma is that angry at Yamcha for that, and Yamcha is so stupid as to not really defend himself that well, then maybe, just maybe, Yamcha can't compete with Bulma. Ever think about that? Maybe that Yamcha just doesn't belong with Bulma because chances are high Yamcha would be dead at one point. Ever consider that? It's not that hard to believe, you know. But Bulma and Vegeta, they can match each other. They're both hot-headed. They're both angry. They both yell at each other. I can tell that probably, most likely, the reason why they ended up fucking was because the argument was that good. And again, people do this. This happens. Sorry to say this, but not all relationships are the same. And you want to know something? I believe that Bulma and Vegeta getting angry, arguing, and then ripping off each other's clothes and fucking each other till they had Trunks way more than Chi-Chi. I believe Chi-Chi was probably a cold dead fish in her lovemaking, but Bulma and Vegeta, that was passionate. I believe that over anything else. And you want to know why I think Vegeta's a good father? Because, simple. Remember, all you Piccolo fans, of which I am, remember. I want you to remember that Vegeta actually spent 7 years with Trunks, and the only time he ever actually punched Trunks hard was to get Trunks out of the way so he could go commit the sacrifice play, and to also punch Trunks before his character development. Piccolo threw Gohan at a mountainside and left him to die for 6 months. Does nobody ever remember that, or are they just too close-minded to just want to go immediately with the Piccolo was best dad and forget the small points? Oh, and by the way, unlike Goku and Chi-Chi, who never had a scene of them, cuddling, we've had scenes of Vegeta and Bulma walking out of the bedroom near naked. And yet, people questioned the Sasuke and Sakura pairing.
It's ironic. Over time, I've actually tried to emulate what I thought I saw in you. This balance between peace and my sight and instincts. I found balance, Kakarot, but it's only recently become apparent that you haven't, because you lack this balance. Things in your life have been in disarray.
The two stood in silence. As the last of their kind, they shared many things in common. Well, except for Tarble. The last of their kind, except for Tarble. And Brawly. and any half-breeds that Brawly and Chie may have. But right now, both their lives are a stark contrast to each other. Vegeta, who once enjoyed killing and lusted after battle. You know, that's the other thing. They talk about all those billions of lives that Vegeta had killed, but in canon, Vegeta's only killed one Namekian village. Yeah, those thousands of lives, and you know, that's another thing I'll never understand. People always blame Vegeta for the deaths of Goku's friends when it was Nappa! Nappa did most of that work! But Goku saw the good in Vegeta when he first thought, spared his life so he could teach these things, not learn from himself. You're right. You're right. There has been an imbalance in my life. For the longest time, I thought everything was fine. But the truth is, it's not. I always fought for my family and for this planet.
Well, actually, you fought mainly for this planet.
Work with me on this! But I've also yearned for more challenges. I've never been satisfied with one battle. I've always wanted more. Like you said, it's something innate in me. It's a primal urge I could never explain, but I knew it was there. It's driven me my whole life. To search out the next adventure. To become better than I currently was.
And that is also why you remain stronger than me.
What do you mean?
Towards the end of our battle with Boo, I realized you are not just stronger than me because you fought for something to protect. You're always stronger than me because you simply refused to lose. You fought to test your limits, and by doing so, you constantly exceeded them to become the strongest you could possibly be. It is why you've won every battle, no matter how difficult the opponent, and that's why you are the best.
Suns filled the air again. As the two Saiyans stood facing one another, a loud gust of wind made its past them. Vegeta, Goku muttered softly. It's been over 10 years since the fight with Boo, and while he knows the change in Vegeta's demeanor after that fight, the two never discussed it. Now, after all these years, his former rival was telling him, you are better. No, I think Vegeta's better. Even when it was in minutes, however, Vegeta did not want to get hung up on emotions.
Don't get sentimental, Kakarot. I'm only telling you this so you can better understand how your greatest virtue and your greatest vice are interrelated in what is shown to be an unstable dynamic. Hey, author! These sound too complicated for my character! You actually know what I'm the type of person to say, right? This is just... What?
Goku couldn't decide if this made matters better or worse, but at least he has a natural sense of direction when it came to solving the problem. You're right. I understand. Thank you, Vegeta. With nothing else to say, Goku decided it was best to leave and have some time alone to his thoughts. I should probably get going. I'm sorry for coming here at such a late hour. Well, once you know, you helped me a great deal, Vegeta. He then turned his back towards the prince and prepared to take off. Say hello to your family for me, he said, waving him goodbye.
Vegeta stopped him. Kakaroto! There's one meeting just to know. Gohan has been training. And I am freaking excited!
Goku became cautious. For his son to be training that heavily was unusual, especially there was no threat on the horizon. Vegeta, why are you telling me this? Why has he been training so hard?
For you, the Saiyan answered. He's been trained because he wanted to show you it's possible to spend time with your family and be powerful enough to protect them. The rest of the planet, apparently he said, could go fuck off. Apparently he meant to show you his power when you got back, in hopes that you would stop you leaving. Of course, things didn't exactly plan that way. Apparently he's a dumbass. Kakaroto,
Vegeta cracked down, causing him to snap the muzzle trance he was in.
I tell you, it's not that thing what's been happening. I'm telling you this because of what happened after you came back. We both felt how powerful your son's ki was when he was upset. Be honest, it was way beyond anything I never expected. Ooh, it felt so good.
Thank you, Vegeta, for telling me this. He said as his thoughts began to head on solve this issue. It became even more complex.
Hey,
Vegeta said, once again snapping Goku out of a trance.
If this fic ends with Gohan winning, I'm nuking this planet. I'm going to nuke this whole entire fanfic. Just tell you right away.